This is the Three Gorges Dam, the largest hydroelectric power station in the world. The dam is so massive that it actually slowed the Earth's rotation by a fraction of a second. The sheer weight of the water it holds, over 39 trillion kilograms, redistributed Earth's mass, slightly altering its rotation. Yet despite its record-breaking scale and global impact, China is now on the brink of outdoing itself. In the rugged landscapes of Tibet, plans are underway for a project so ambitious it'll make the Three Gorges Dam look like child's play. But what does this mean for the world? Will it revolutionize clean energy, or are we on the brink of another disaster? Over the years, China has become the top player in dam constructions, which cannot be ignored considering the fact that there are 87,000 dams in China. And now they're planning to build several more dams, and these are not just run-of-the-mill dams. They're building dams that would change the whole geography of the region. The newly proposed project, Super Dam, aims to harness the Yarlung Tsangpo, which is a river that starts off in Tibet and flows into India and Bangladesh. The planned dam would make use of the river's substantial kinetic force as it flows through the Yarlung Tsangpo Gorge, also known as the Eastern Grand Canyon. This project is expected to become the world's largest hydropower plant, with a total capacity of a staggering 60 gigawatts, which is 3 times more than the Three Gorges Dam in China. And if you thought 3 times does not sound as big, let us shatter your misconception. In terms of electrical output, the Three Gorges Dam is capable of generating approximately 22.5 gigawatts, which is equivalent to the needs of around 84 million households across the globe. The government of China is planning to produce a massive 60 gigawatt or 300 billion kilowatt hours of electricity through this new project, which would be enough to support the basic needs of 300 million households. Just to give you an idea, it can produce more electricity than is consumed in an entire year by the UK. The actual size of the Three Gorges Dam is rather difficult to envision. It holds back 39.3 billion cubic meters of water and literally controls the flow of the Yangtze, which is the longest river in Asia. Its 32 massive turbines churn day and night, converting the river's immense power into clean energy that fuels China's industrial and domestic needs. Now, imagine a dam that produces 3 times that amount. That's the promise of the Super Dam, with its potential to revolutionize China's energy landscape. The government has already earmarked 1 trillion yuan or $137 billion for the project, making it the most ambitious single infrastructure project on the planet to date. But is it even feasible? Well, hydroelectric dams are the most incredible combination of science and engineering as they harness the physical force of water. The generation of electricity in the Super Dam will depend on Yarlung Tsangpo, whose gradients are steep, hence making the flow of this river relatively high. The sacred river is home to the deepest canyon on the planet, with a vertical difference of 25,154 feet. But it's not just about energy. The Super Dam is designed to control water flow, preventing floods during heavy rains and ensuring a steady supply during dry seasons. Its reservoirs will harbor tremendous amounts of water, which in turn will further boost China's economic growth. China has in the past few decades experienced significant economic growth. But with great growth comes great energy demand. Currently, coal is the most preferred source of energy in China, as it shares more than 50% of the country's electricity generation. This reliance on coal has adverse effects, especially for a country wanting to become carbon neutral by 2060. With hydropower, however, it is a different case altogether, as it is a very clean, green, and reliable source of energy. China's goal is to cut back on the use of fossil fuels and help avert further harm to the environment by constructing more and more dams. These megadams are regarded as fundamental to the strategy of China to achieve the goal of control over energy resources. And all this was visible as far back as 2008, when China constructed the largest dam in the world, the Three Gorges Dam. It took them 17 years to build the dam, which was budgeted at a cost of $31 billion, and it has utterly revolutionized the way water and energy are managed in China. Its huge flood control reservoirs extend for more than 600 kilometers, offering a storage capacity that controls water levels during the rainy seasons. The dam has been proven essential in safeguarding millions of people in the lower regions, especially the fast-growing population inhabiting the Yangtze River Delta region. One big advantage that China has is it has rivers, big ones. Take Jinsha, for example. It's estimated that the hydropower capacity of the Jinsha alone is enough to produce 112 gigawatts of electricity. One of the most ambitious dams planned for this stretch will stand 239 meters tall, surpassing even the iconic Hoover Dam in the United States. One of the new dams that is being designed and constructed is the Beyond Dam, built with over 8 million cubic meters of concrete, requiring more than 10,000 workers and costing over $31 billion. The total capacity of the Beyond Dam can be estimated at 16,000 megawatts of electrical energy, more than twice the energy produced by the Grand Coulee Dam in the US. And this is only one of the many dams expected to be built on the Yi River. When completed, this web of dams will be able to electrify whole regions and ease the pressure on China's current energy grid. Let's talk numbers. The super dam is expected to generate around $3 billion in annual revenue for Tibet. That's not just a boost for local communities, it's a game changer for China's green energy transition. By replacing coal-fired power plants with hydroelectric energy, China could significantly cut its carbon emissions, inching closer to its climate goals. However, there is a different angle to it, which is rather alarming. Ecologists have raised alarms concerning the expected dangers that might be posed to the local biodiversity in the region. The Arlong-Zangbo River begins in Tibet and passes through various flora and fauna in its journey southwards. Any disturbance to the ecosystem could have far-reaching effects not just on animals, but also on the millions who depend on the water further down the river. Now, this is where the problem starts. The Arlong-Zangbo River does not only belong to China. This river has its hilly region in Tibet and then passes through India and Bangladesh, where it is called Brahmaputra. This river is a source for farming activities, fisheries, and even drinking water in these regions. Hence, any drastic change in the river's course would lead to an absolute economic disaster in terms of water supply within the region. This, of course, has sparked increased outcry among China and neighboring countries. The basin of the Batam-Bangla River is strategically important for Indian agriculture, and any reduction of water supply could compromise its food security. In addition, the hydroelectric dam may allow China to gain some upper hand during a confrontation, as that would enable it to be in control of the water resources that flow into India. This has made Indian political leaders think of alternatives like building their own dams on the Brahmaputra. Bangladesh is also in serious jeopardy. As a flat country that relies on the river for irrigation and drinking water, any change in the flow of Brahmaputra will increase the country's exposure to risks from climate change and sea level rise. Constructing such a huge infrastructure in an earthquake-prone zone is also a big task. Since the river estuary is rather loose, the bottom of the dam has to be overlaid with layers of concrete and rocks. To mitigate the risk of landslides and snowslides, thick concrete walls will be constructed along the steep gorge site. Geographical factors around the super dam are complex. The Medak County region is seismically active, with earthquakes and landslides being a common occurrence. It's quite a big gamble trying to construct a dam with such characteristics in a setting like this. Any design fault would result in a devastating collapse. Do you remember the Assam-Tibet earthquake that occurred in 1950? With a scale of 8.6 on the Richter scale, it was one of the strongest earthquakes ever to have been recorded. This monster earthquake came from the vicinity of the Indo-Tibetan border and caused great chaos and destruction not only in India but also in Tibet. In Assam, entire villages were destroyed as the quakes caused disintegration of buildings and houses. Landslides destroyed roads and blocked rivers, leading to agricultural flooding, which resulted in thousands of refugees. During the aftermath, everyone struggled as the earthquake dislocated the entire course of the Brahmaputra, buried many regions along the way, and wiped out around 1,500 people. The damage was equally felt in Tibet. Bridges collapsed, and essential trade routes were disrupted for months. Even with China's engineering expertise, the risks are substantial because China's track record with large-scale dam projects isn't spotless. The Three Gorges Dam, while a triumph of engineering, came with its fair share of problems. Over 1.25 million people were displaced, and entire ecosystems were disrupted. Critics argue that the lessons from that project should be carefully considered before diving headfirst into the super dam. Additionally, the lack of transparency surrounding the super dam has raised eyebrows. Without open communication, it's hard to assess the full impact of the project until it's too late. This has fueled suspicion among neighboring countries and environmental watchdogs. The super dam is part of a larger global trend, the race to control water resources. In many parts of the world, water is becoming a scarce and highly contested resource. From Ethiopia's Grand Renaissance Dam on the Blue Nile to disputes over the Tigris-Euphrates River complex in the Middle East, water conflicts are on the rise. Experts warn that water wars could become a grim reality in the not-so-distant future. The question now is not whether these dams will succeed, but how they'll shape the future of China and the world. What do you think about China's mega dam ambitions? Let us know in the comments below, and make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel.